it's Colleen Schmidt from Divination Counseling Service, here today to present to you June's moon ingress into Capricorn. So the chart itself features once again a third house moon. That's really, like I say, it's been so interesting following these because the third house is not the best place for the moon. And it's like we're a population of people continually experiencing this. So just a reminder that the third house represents things like communication, siblings, neighborhoods. All those things are really important right now with everything we're going through. So there is a real, emphasis on these areas of our lives right now, literally. So as we look at this moon, the first thing that will come to our attention here is the South Node conjunction and also Cupido. And all honesty, this is an oppression emotionally, either through organizations, associations, or even our own home environments. Cupido is family, but it's also art associations or art in general, so not real good for art. But really, the thing I want to point out is that south node to the moon here might represent an oppression. And it's interesting because we are more active, and you can see that in this chart. Pluto, things are changing, we're expanding. But really, as we look into the eighth house, see, the sun and the moon, well, let me get to the sun, jumping ahead of myself. So the moon is ruled by Saturn. So let me just start there, okay, before I get into the rest of the chart. Saturn, as we know, is here in the fourth house. There is an element of healing, again, when Saturn is placed in the fourth house. So it's not a bad place for it, but the Pluto-Jupiter tells us that as well. Saturn, however, has its own aspects going on at the moment. There is an inconjunct there, so there's an opportunity for learning. But Saturn, as we recall from some of our past conversations, is kind of in conflict with some of the other factors. For example, business, Apollon. People are getting busier. I myself have significantly gotten busier in the last couple of days with that Jupiter in Sagittarius. But as we go into Capricorn, that square to Saturn might become more prominent in our lives. And, I'm going to look at the dial for that. So again, I don't want to jump ahead of myself. I do want to point out that this chart is ruled by Venus. Venus happens to be conjunct up here with the sun. It's a wide orb, 5 degrees, but it's right here. And it's interesting because it comes with some endings here, atropos. So it right in the middle, actually, Sun, Venus. And I and it's in the eighth house. So I kind of take this to mean, because the eighth house is shared resources, but it's also the resources of other people. And I wrote about looking toward maybe employers and how they can handle their employees, or whether or not they can pay them full amounts, or do they have to cut their schedules. That'll play a factor. The other thing is, as they're opening up restaurants in my area, there's still a high percentage of unemployed people. And so therefore, my feeling is there's going to still be some kind of not only restriction on how many people can be at these venues, but a restriction in terms of how much money do people have to spend. And again, you have to look at that. That's an eighth house concept. So when we look at the moon, because it only lasts for a few days, it moves so quickly, you do want to look at what rules it, where is it, how is that playing in? And we can see that quite clearly with this chart. The other thing I want to point out is this Zeus here. Zeus is also beginnings. It's the seed. And I know that we're healing, and we're also looking at life differently, and we're taking an opportunity to even maybe change who we are. And this can really represent the excitement of that 20 degrees Zeus, you know, the excitement. Now it is retrograde and we are oppressed, but there's still that excitement, that new beginning. Now, as always, because I'm trying to teach different techniques, I wanted to look at the midpoints again, okay? Realizing that they don't really change much. We still have a lot going on at the Aries point. The moon is here. And I also want to point out that the protests are really picking this up, but in general, there's a sense of oneness. Now, oneness is all of us. We are one. All people are one. I don't even care what country, I don't care what color, I don't care what gender specification, I don't care. We are one. We are one. But that oneness can be literally brought down to each individual level. And it's really interesting because as we go through these days of isolation, it is an opportunity to reflect on who we are. And in doing that, we can become one within ourselves, body, mind, and spirit. So I did want to bring that up. Otherwise, not a lot of changes here as I take it to the 2230. One more. There we go. When I take it to this, we're going to see that it is the similar, except for the ascendant Pluto and the Zeus Pluto, which is, again, we're excited to change, we're transformation, we're working within this and trying to make it work for us. Pluto's very powerful. It really takes away our choices. You're really not in charge when Pluto's in charge. So I just want to point that out, that we are dealing, again, with many of the same midpoints. So I'm going to leave it there. I don't want these to get too long, but I, again, like the idea of looking at this every day and seeing how it changes. You know, with the moon going to be running through Capricorn, we are going to be more discerning. We are going to be more conservative. We are going to be, in some ways, more task-oriented, which is going to run well with Apollon, because Apollon, not just that businesses are starting up again, but in some cases, it will take more arms and legs than we might have. It's really going to be busy for some people. And again, I'm only looking at the next couple of days, but it really does look like that. Now, I did want to take a really good peek at Hygeia here. Hygeia's right here. There it is. And I do want to say to you that I do feel that we are going to be getting some news, unfortunately, about our health. So again, I was a little bit concerned that our numbers would start going up. We might start to begin to see that by this Mercury Sun. Or they could be just referring to states where it is going up. But it's still very much in the news, is what I'm trying to get at. As is protesting. But I do believe with the Sun, Venus, and Venus ruling the chart, I think we're going to be a lot kinder. And that bodes well for things like protesting. So before I leave, as always, I thank you for being here. I thank you if you're a subscriber. If you're not, I would love for you to become one. But with that said, connect with me, comment. If you have a question, contact me. If you'd like personal work done, whether it be a chart, a tarot reading, contact me through divinationcounselingservice.org. Until we meet again, or until next time, happy readings.